All right, so I'm here picking my handlebars up. Just got them powder coated by my man Nick right here. Nick, tell us about yourself. What is it you do? What you trying to do?
Custom powder coater. Name of the company is NGM Coatings, mainly automotive parts, motorcycle parts, anything that'll fit inside my oven. 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide, 3 foot deep. I can bring all your parts back to life as long as they're within reason.
So yeah, I decided to bring my stuff to Nick. I've got like 3 powder coaters between my house and Nick, and I've used 2 of those 3. But young up and comers want to give an opportunity to grow their business, so I always want to give somebody a shout and give somebody a shot and make sure that they can deliver something for folks that are watching what I'm doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Very welcome. All right, y'all. See you
So I
next
got my
time.
handlebars back, all powder coated black, looking nice and shiny. My internal controls are actually a little too big for the internal portion of the bar by about, I don't know, 3 millimeters maybe. So what I'm going to do, I do have to cut this bar down slightly in order to put the new internal controls and grip on there. And so what I'm going to do is tape this thing off, get it measured, get it cut. I can't run any cables or anything through it yet. But that's my next task. I'm probably going to do that on Monday as long as my machinist is in the shop. So I'm going to go ahead and mask this thing off now so I can get to cutting, measuring, all that good stuff in preparation. So I'm putting aftermarket heel toe shifter on my bike, and I just wanted to show you that this is my my OEM one for the 06 and higher with the 2-piece. You see it's got this kind of a machined look on it. It's got a film or something on it. I'm sure it's to protect it, but it also kind of dulls the finish. So just for giggles, what I did is I got my drill with one of the little scratch pads. I think that one, it was used already, but I think it used to be either the green one or the blue one. I'm not even sure. Like I said, it was used. I grabbed that thing and some WD-40 and spent about 1.5 minutes on the back side of this and polished it down. And then I took Mothers and put on there. And that's what I came up with. So for anybody who's not trying to go with an aftermarket setup, just know that you can get this thing to a really high polished finish. Now, I didn't do anything to buff it down. I didn't do it on a buffing wheel, so you can see the little scratches in there. But that's just because I did it with the drill and that particular cutter or grit, whatever, that disc. I'm trying to get a real feel for how bright and shiny that is, but it came out really good, just considering it was about 1.5 minutes of work for that section and 1 coat of Mother's polish, this stuff here. Actually, I did it twice. And the second time I hit it, it got some of the swirl marks out. But again, I didn't do anything to try to buff out any of the scratches. So if you're trying to keep your stock one and you want it to have a high shine, you can certainly do it. Anyway, just thought I'd share. So I went ahead and popped in my my running lights slash turn signals. It's super easy. It was literally just pop out one panel that was in there and put these back in. Now these are plug and play for a Harley, which is obviously not going to work for this bike. So I've got the plugs here, and I've got all kinds of other little gizmos and gadgets that go with it that would go up and plug in a Harley behind the upper fairing. I've got a couple of other plugs to a diode and another plug to make sure that it flashes at the right speed and doesn't have bleed over from one signal to the other. So I just need to get that wired up. But I think those are going to be very cool. I said in one of the earlier videos that I didn't know what I wanted to do for a headlight and that I had like 3 headlights in here. Well, this is a 4th one. Uh, this is a VTX 1800 headlight. What I like about it is that it's big front to back, it's long front to back, and pretty wide side to side, and it's got this this visor on there, which I think goes more toward the look that I'm going for. I don't have the stretch nacelle or any of that stuff, but I do like this look. I'm still waiting for my light bar to come. I'm gonna have a light bar with the auxiliary lights here. And so once I get that all mounted up, I'll see if I like the look or if I'm going to do something different. There's just, forgive all the tape and whatnot. I've just got stuff masked off so I don't scratch up any of the polished surfaces as I'm working with these different pieces. the blue tape on the handlebars is where I'm going to actually have to cut the handlebars down here for my internal controls, because they're already mounted on a grip that's going to sit to about here. So I need to cut the stock handle, or excuse me, cut this bar off here, because there's an insert that'll come to about here, and then the grips will be about so. So yeah, just masking stuff off so I don't damage anything, to keep everything looking shiny when it's all done and dusted. Boy, oh boy, I tell you, I've been in here trying to fish the cables for my clutch, and next is going to be my throttle through these handlebars, and I've had to pull out all the tools. Got my fish tape, I've got chain, I've got speaker wire, everything to try to get this stuff through, which is interesting because it's only 2 bins, but the holes inside are terribly small. And I've had to, even my camera, had to get my camera out here so I could see what I was dealing with. Good stuff, but at least the clutch is through, and now I can go ahead and try to work on getting the throttle cable through, and that's going to be for my internal clutch and internal throttle. So get started on this one now. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, I had to pull out every trick I knew in order to run these cables. You probably can't see with all that crap in the background. Run these cables through the bars. These are the cables for my internal controls. This is not wiring for switches or anything. I'm actually getting ready to try to do that now. But obviously I went down through the bottom of the bars, up through it. Only had to go through 2 bins and then come out the end there. Same thing on this side. So obviously this is the throttle side. It's going to be an internal throttle. And on this side, it's the clutch side. It's going to be an internal clutch. So it's actually going to be a twist clutch and not a lever. So my bars stay nice and clean. Thankfully for my hidden switches, it's only 2 wires that run from the touchpad down to the control box. So what I'm going to have to do is pull the clutch cable back down, back up through the handlebar end of it, attach my cable for my switch pad, my control pad, and pull that back down through the hole and hopefully not tear anything up. So that's what I'm going to try to do now. But I tell you what, I had a chain that I dropped down through there. I tried a fish tape, but it couldn't make it around the bends. So I took a chain because I was able to drop it and wiggle the bars around. There's no way I'd have been able to do this with the bars on the bike. So I was able to just like wiggle this around and get the chain to drop through where I wanted it to. Once it was all the way through, I taped a piece of speaker wire to that, pulled it through, and then attached the cable to the speaker wire and pulled it back through the other way. So, it was a lot of work, but I finally got it done. It took me about an hour and a half to do both sides last night. And that was using my little flex tip camera to stick in the holes to see where everything was. It was crazy. But that's where I am now. And like I said, I'm about to run the wiring for my control pad through there. And then I'll be ready to mount the handlebars up. Moving right along. All right, so what I did is I pulled the clutch lever back through, or the clutch cable back through the bars as far back as I could before it got to this portion where the adjuster is. I went ahead and taped the end of my keypad control to this and then pulled it back through the bars. So now I have it all the way through. Disconnect that and I can go ahead and mount the bars up because now all of my cables are run through for everything I need. So I've gotten a question from several people about my internal controls and how I'm going to have clean bars. So this is the internal, this is the clutch side from Exile Cycles. It's nice and clean. And just to break it apart, this is the grip. If you take this off, I've already taken the fasteners and whatnot out. This is the heart of it. So this part twists, twisting to be a clutch, right? And the way this works is that inside you have a chamber that's round, and as you turn, as you twist the handle, that turns, and it's locked onto this little pin here. So as you turn, this moves in and out, which in turn will move the cable, which is going to be locked in the tip there. So I have the clutch side, so I'll have a twist clutch, and then of course on the throttle side, there's a throttle, which will twist like so, I'm not sure if you can see that moving inside there or not. It's very difficult to see on the camera from this angle. But that's what the internal controls are. So this means I don't have to have a clutch lever on the outside. And of course, with the throttle, that means there's no cables running on the outside. This is running inside the handlebar, down and through, down to the throttle body. And that's it. Exile cycles. So I started to record this yesterday, and for whatever reason, my camera shut off on me. I've had some folks also ask me about my hidden switches. And the hidden switches aren't so much hidden as they just aren't in plain view. So as you know, obviously, normally on your motorcycle, on your handlebars, you're going to have your engine cutoff switch, start button. On this side, you're going to have your turn signals, high, low, beam, and all that good stuff. But you see what I have here are these 4 buttons. The fact that there's white masking tape on there just provides a high contrast. But when the handlebars are black, that's going to fade in quite a bit. But this is GripAce. And while the grip is going to be, or the handle is going to be here, and you know I'm going to have the twist clutch here. But then this will be turn signal, I don't know. Maybe this will be the horn or something like that. And that'll be the start button. Not really sure how I'm going to program it. But that goes into the bar, and then the line or the control cable runs down through the bars and comes out. And what's cool is that it's just a 2-pin connector. And then this 2-pin connector, come on, focus. This 2-pin connector goes to a control box. And then with the control box, you program in what functions each button is going to have. So that is the GripAce. It's going to be really cool for keeping all the stuff off the bars and keeping the bars nice and clean. As is the case with just about anything we're doing that's custom, I had to do some more modification to this. This is my internal throttle cable, and as you can see by the shape, it is not designed for a Roadstar, and this was actually smooth. So what I had to do was grab my tap and die set and cut this with a die so that I could put it into the normal cable stop on the top of the throttle body here, or carburetor here, excuse me. And then I got nuts to put on the top and bottom so that it will be held in place just like the stock cable is when it's on. So that's what I had to do for that one. And then shortly here, I'm gonna get my length right for this outer cable, cut the inner cable down to the correct length, and then mount my internal throttle. Wow, there was definitely a learning curve in getting this internal throttle done, but now it's hooked up. See down there, it's functioning perfectly fine on the throttle itself. Even with only a single cable, returns quickly and perfectly. I like it. Gonna be nice. I've got a gap here. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do for mirrors, so I may get something that clamps directly on the bar and goes over. Not really sure yet. But in order for me to maintain a decent length from here to here, I did leave that extra 1.25 inches there, so I got, my hands a little farther out. But that's the throttle side done. Now I got to work on the clutch. All right, internal controls done. So, nice clean look of the bars. Of course, it'll look better once I get all that tape off of there. Just finished doing the clutch. But as you saw yesterday, or from yesterday, throttle is done. Nice action there. No brake lever because I'm going to be integrating the front and rear brake into the brake pedal. That's still got to come down the line. But you see no cables on the outside of the bar. And over here for the clutch, twist clutch. Yes. I mean, it's a pretty long throw. It's about half a turn, which is fine, I guess. I guess we'll find out. But no clutch lever out here. Everything clean. No cables. Cables running internally, down, around, down the side. But bars are going to look good once I get all the masking tape and stuff off when I get through with the rest of it.